Hey, it's Pork here from Editutes, and today I want to rant about Tom Clancy's The Division. Now, first of all, I got into this game during the beta. I think it was the last 2 or 3 days of the beta, or whatever it was, maybe last weekend of the beta. And a friend of mine introduced me to it. I'd heard about it before, obviously. Really excited to play it. Although I have to be honest, before I played it, I figured it would be like a Call of Duty kind of, PvP thing. But when I started playing it, obviously I was educated, and I really enjoyed it. PvE aspect of the game really took me. Wasn't too keen on the PvP because I felt it wasn't very fair in regards to, it seemed to be set up that rogues could shoot you in the back, take your gear, and that was that, you'd lose everything. But they had a penalty that when they went rogue, people on the server would hunt them down because you got a bonus for killing them, and you could take their gear without getting into trouble yourself. So it seemed like, well, I've lost my gear, but they'd want to be really good to get away with that, so it seemed fair. Now, they introduced a patch, I believe it was 1 point, or maybe 1, I'm not sure, but it was a patch before the incursion patch, basically. And they introduced a patch, and they basically said they wanted more people in the Dark Zone, which is the PvP enabled area. Now, this patch basically made it that there was no consequences for going rogue. So basically it meant you could go rogue, you could wait for someone to grind, maybe an hour in the Dark Zone for gear, whether it be for themselves, upgrades, for mats, whatever it might be, and division tech, etc. And they could wait an hour for people to get their gear, and when they're extracting, which is what you have to do in the Dark Zone, after you've gathered all your gear, you get it in a special yellow pack, which is contaminated, and you have to extract it by chopper. The special zones called extraction zones, where you basically bring your gear, you hook it onto a line, but you have to wait, I believe it's 1.5 minutes for the process to be finished by the time the helicopter comes. Now what people can do is, and what's happened to me in the Dark Zone, and probably hundreds of other people, I went in and I found, we'll say 7 purple items, and each item was an upgrade for me, and I was delighted. I'd worked hard to get them. I'd went in, I'd done my research, I brought, plenty of supplies, ammo, pots, that kind of thing. So I went into the Dark Zone and I grinded them all. The friend came in and joined me after a while, and he got some stuff as well. I went to Extraction Zone. It's actually the one just left when you enter through the DZ01 checkpoint on the left hand side of the map. The one nearest. We headed there, and just as the line came down, there was 3 or 4 guys behind us, and we heard them say, "Let's get them." And we tried to get our stuff on. Just as we were putting our stuff on the line, they killed us, so we couldn't cancel the animation. We were stuck in an animation loop, so we couldn't do anything, even though we heard them say it. They took us, they killed our gear, and they extracted it all at the same time. And one thing that I kind of thought to myself, even though it's fair play, it's fair game, that's fine, because back at that stage before the patch, as I said, there was consequences for going rogue. But one thing I did say to myself was a bit stupid, was that if you're rogue, you can extract. Whereas when you call the chopper to extract from the Dark Zone, he says, "Agent, I'm inbound in 1 minute," or whatever it is. But you're not an agent, you're rogue. So I never got that. But anyway, getting past that, onto the rant. I got to level 30. I grinded dailies, challenge modes, everything to get some decent gear. Well, not fantastic, but decent. Did my crafting, did everything else, all my stuff the way you're supposed to. And then the patch dropped in where they basically made no consequence for going rogue. And all of a sudden, me as I have basically 2 characters in my account, as you've probably seen in one of my other videos. One is a tank. It's for PvE, and the other is a sniper, which I use, a marksman. Sorry, I use for PvP and going into the Dark Zone, because even though he has very little health, he has high burst DPS, which means I can take down the mobs quicker. So I noticed going into Dark Zone on my own became a non-entity or a non-starter, because even one person on their own would shoot you in the back as soon as you've killed a boss or a mob. They shoot you in the back and take your gear, and by the time you get back, there's very little you can do about it. And as I said, it's pretty much pointless. If it was a PvP enabled area, so let's say for example you walked in and it's just everybody against everybody, I would accept that. I'd say fair enough. But there are items and gear in the Dark Zone that that you cannot get other places. Division tech is one, and also it's a place to get Phoenix credits, it's a place to get gear, upgrades, materials, you name it, that has a lot to offer. But basically I felt Ubisoft were forcing, or Massive, whoever it is, were forcing people into the Dark Zone, even if they were PvEers, or even if they, like myself, were PvPers but didn't feel the Dark Zone was PvP. Here's a typical example of what I mean. I was in the Dark Zone solo. I was only grinding ranks. I wasn't picking up items because I knew if I had, that yellow attachment on my back, it's making me a target. So I go in and I spend probably about an hour and a half grinding. I kill one of the bosses, and all of a sudden I see an orange glow, which means a high-end drop. And I think, oh my god, yeah, that's a high-end drop. Could be just a mod, whatever, but it was my first, and I was really excited. And I went up and I picked it up, and it was a Midas, which is a very good SMG. It is for someone who's, relatively new to the Dark Zone, at least, or only in the Dark Zone a week or so. So I went onto the map. I checked which areas were not being extracted. I checked which NPCs were around, and made sure basically that I'd get the extraction zone safe, and that I'd be able to get it out and get it done. So did all that, and basically got the extraction. There was nobody there. I started the extraction in a place where basically it's not normally started. It wasn't inside the circle. It was off to the left behind a kind of a container thing. And I stood on top of the container, and I said, if someone shoots me from that way, I can jump down. If someone shoots me from this way, I can get behind cover. So, I was trying to think tactically, all the kind of stuff. Anyway, it got down to about 10 seconds. The extraction, my heart's pounding, obviously, with this thing on my back. And a guy comes along and does a wave animation thing, which is like an emote thing. I wave him back, and just a second before the rope drops, he tries to kill me. And my heart's beating because obviously I have this high-end Midas in my backpack. So I can't remember what I had. I think I had an SMG in my hands, but I sprayed a few rounds and I activated my signature ability, which is like a damage reduction ability, signature skill, and I managed to get the extraction. I managed to get the extraction out at that point. But prior to this, I had lost a high-end to a hacker. Now, I haven't gone into that story because I'm not talking. This rant is not about hackers. This is about what Ubisoft are trying to force people to do to who want to play the Division. I'm going to talk a little bit about the forums as well. Now, if you're a fan of the Division and if you like playing the Division, you will have to agree that there's been a lot of controversy over what they've done to the Dark Zone in regards to having no penalties for going rogue. It seems like they only know full gear or full stop. So Dark Zone at the moment is a pretty undoable place unless you're in a big team, a big group, sorry. Solo, I don't do it anymore, even though I don't really play the Division that much anymore. But solo, I certainly won't go to the Dark Zone solo anymore because, as I said, people, even if you've no gear, people will shoot you in the back because, because, I don't know, they can. Now my rant is about what Ubisoft have done to make that worse. Bad enough as it was, we could get kind of off days in the Dark Zone solo to, maybe grind some ranks. But then they turned around and said, right, we're gonna have bosses guaranteed drop high end. So now all rogues have to do is basically follow you around, wait for you to kill out the boss, boom, you've got a high end, they kill you, they take the high end. Now, my question is, why would Ubisoft make a game that kind of promotes playing like an asshole, basically, that promotes bullying? In certain terms you can call it bullying, because as I said, there's four people and you're on your own, or you're with a friend that's two. There's no kind of even fight here, there's no PvP, and I want to make this 100% clear. The Dark Zone is not PvP. Whether that's what they want it to be or not, it's not. It's basically bullying and basically being shot in the back for your gear. Now, I've no problem. If that's what you enjoy or you don't mind that, then go ahead and do it. But the people who are used to PvP in other games will certainly tell you that that's a load of crap, basically. That's a load of rubbish. And Ubisoft should be ashamed of themselves, and they should be, keeping their head down low because of what they're trying to force people to do. What they're basically saying is, we want people to go rogue, stab each other in the back, take each other's gear, fuck each other over, and basically, that's how we want it. I've seen friends who've gone into the Dark Zone, have arguments, have fights, groups have broken down, clans from previous games have come in and broken down over this, and it's caused major problems. The only people who seem to think this is a good thing are the people who want to shoot you in the back and take your gear. And basically, to me, that's basically the definition of being an asshole. Maybe they're too lazy to grind their own gear, maybe they're too dumb to know how to get the gear, but basically they want a game where they can come in, they can walk into the dark zone after 10 minutes of, been in the game, they can walk into the dark zone, shoot you, take the gear you've been spending an hour trying to get, and extract it. And you lose not just the gear, but you lose ranks, keys, and other stuff as well. So if this is what Ubisoft want to promote, this kind of behaviour in let's face it, an internet, environment where anonymity, makes people assholes anyway, I won't support this game anymore. That's the end of the story. I had bought the season pass as well as the game itself on PC. And actually my nephew, who does console gaming, was going to buy it off, my recommendation, but when they brought in the patch and then they released the incursion patch, I said to him, no, don't get it, you're wasting your time. He doesn't play Call of Duty or any of those kind of games. He plays some Battlefield 4, but he's not a Twitch player, he doesn't like Twitch, games. So, basically my rant is that Ubisoft and Massive have decided they want to promote online bullying, they want to promote laziness and idiots, and they want people, ordinary gamers like you and me, who want to go in and work for what we get. I've no problem working hard for getting the gear that I need to get to do whatever it is I need to do, but I certainly will not do all that just for some kid to shoot me in the back, take my gear, and then say this is PvP, which it bloody is not. So I'm finished with the game. I have a lot of games installed on my PC at the moment that are keeping me occupied. I have Euro Truck Simulator 2, I have American Truck Simulator, and I have some other games as well. I've actually got too many to even go into at the moment, so I'll be playing them instead. I also have, I've just actually got The Witcher 3. I've only played about 10 minutes because I want to make an actual, a series of that playthrough, so looking forward to doing that. Probably get that done today at some stage. But yeah, I'm really absolutely confused by Ubisoft and Massive behaviour in regards to what they're trying to promote people to do in the Dark Zone. It seems that they just don't listen or don't care what people are saying. And about the forums. Now, when they dropped the patch that basically made no consequences for going rogue, I had my first venture onto the forum. And I have to be honest, I was really surprised at the amount of people saying this was a good thing. I was shocked. And I kind of did a bit of research, and I happened to find out that the people who were saying this is a good thing were the same ones who were complaining before the patch that going rogue was, quote, too hard. And these are the same people telling people like me who complained about this to, oh, stop crying, crybaby, go play COD. Well, I'm sorry, you're complaining that going rogue is too hard. I'm not the one who's saying things are too hard. I'm saying the penalty for going rogue is too low. I'm not saying get rid of rogues, I'm not saying get rid of the Dark Zone. I'm saying the penalty for going rogue is too low, therefore more rogues. And as a result, I've been in the Dark Zone once or twice, but it's been 8, 9, 10 rogues. It's crazy. Supply drops are being ignored. I don't know what the hell's going on with the supply drop thing, but when I've been in there, they've been ignored, expiring all the time. And all I see in the Dark Zone is paranoid people who, before you could walk on you, they'd help you kill a boss, or they'd revive you if they saw you down. I was on the steps in DZ06 yesterday. I was going to the vendor to see what the new changes were, and I happened to kind of turn around from my desk. I was talking to somebody, I think it was my sister, and the next thing I looked around and I was dead, and an NPC had apparently spawned on the street or something. 2 people passed me and didn't even revive me, which is the first time it's ever happened to me in the Dark Zone. So to me that kind of shows, what people think that their thought process is, if they revive me, I could shoot them and, take their stuff. And that's what Ubisoft and Massive want to promote, that kind of, behaviour in people. I don't understand. So my question for you, in regards to the Division, if you played the Division, do you still play it? If you stopped, why did you stop? Was it over the new crafting grind, the new incursions? Why did you stop playing the Division? As for myself, I've stopped playing it. I haven't uninstalled it yet because I keep hoping and keep hoping and keep hoping that they'll bring out a patch to fix some of the stuff that they ruined, basically. I keep hoping that they'll increase, not the way it was before the patch, but they'll increase the penalties for going rogue, or at least they'll give people who want to grind for the gear without having to deal with, so-called, air quotes, PvPers. It's what drives me mad is that, in previous games, anyone who knows me will tell you that, in previous games I've always been the PvPer. I played World of Warcraft, I was always on a PvP server, and I was the one who took longest to level because I was always looking for fights or joining battlegrounds instead of leveling properly. And, other games I've played, RPGs, MMOs, you name it, I've always been the one who wanted to PvP, get out there and fight. But they're in situations where it's a fair fight. And when I say fair fight, I don't mean all the classes are perfectly balanced. I mean, you go into an area or an environment where you know it's kill or be killed. I don't have to go there to get gear, I don't have to go there to get levels, I just go there to fight. And that's what Ubisoft need to do with the Division, in my opinion. Or as I said, at the very least, increase the penalties for going rogue. But, like I've said to my friend a million times, I think Ubisoft want to encourage this behaviour. And as long as Ubisoft and Massive have decided that they want scumbags and idiots and dumbasses and bullies in the Dark Zone, that's what's going to happen. Anyway, I want to talk about the Division forums a little bit, and I encourage you to go onto Division, onto the website, check out the forums yourself. But just a brief note about the forums. I was very surprised to see the behaviour of people on the forums for the Division. It's a kind of toxic community. You've got the people who are complaining about things, and as I said, I think if you forked out guts of €100 for a game and a season pass and all that kind of jazzy stuff, I think you have the right to complain. And I don't see why you should be called a crybaby, or you should be called a loser, or get good, as has been said a million times to me on forums. Get good, So you have them kind of people. You have people like myself who kind of genuinely think that the game needs fixing in certain ways. I'm not saying that the Dark Zone should be split, made PvE or nothing like that, but I think as it is at the moment it's broken, and until it's fixed, or until we don't have to grind the Dark Zone for ranks or anything else, that there should be an alternative, whatever that is. But yeah, that's the kind of people you have in the Division. Then you have the ones who will reply to a thread or start a thread saying to all those people QQing and moaning. And I'm like, why would you start a thread? Why would you start a thread saying to all the people QQ and moaning? Stop moaning. I mean, to me that's like the biggest kind of attention seeker kind of behaviour you can get, but as I said, that's just me, my opinion. But the Division forums are the most toxic I've ever seen, I think, in a game environment, a game forum. And that's something to say. But go on there and have a look yourself. You'll see the people, trying to make valid points. You'll see the ones just coming on to basically say, get good, get good and don't go in solo. I'm sorry, but they promised, they stated that the game from 0 to 100% was soloable. So basically what they meant was the main mission, everything else, no, not soloable. You can't do challenge modes on your own. You can't even do it with two people. Myself and a friend tried. And I was on a tank and he was on a healer. And he had fairly decent DPS as well, and he tried it on his sniper character. We tried all combinations, and we got about a quarter way in, but that's the best we could do. So yeah, not even too manageable. And then you have the incursions, which they've just brought in on the 12th. And gear score. I cringed as soon as I saw gear score come up on the patch notes, because if there's one thing that can be, what would you say, skirted around or can be made an alternative, it's gear score. It's like someone's already said in the forum. They were able to they added a new bracket to the Dark Zone that basically said if your gear score is over 160, I think it's 160 or 163, I don't know, then basically you go into a separate Dark Zone. And some guy found out that if he unequipped his pistol for a grey pistol, he could enter. So again, it's gear score is... I'd love for someone to show me an example of where gear score has worked perfectly. I don't think in any game I've played, MMO or any other online game, I don't think I've ever seen gear score, do what the developers hoped it would do for the game. and I think Ubisoft have been extremely lazy. To be honest with you, I make honest reviews about games. I was going to do a review about The Division, but I changed my mind. I said I'm not going to give Ubisoft credit. I'm not going to give them any free advertising. Whether the two people who, if only two people watch the video, still two people would might go out and buy it. So I decided not to do that. And this video is more, as I said, of a rant, because I'm basically speaking my mind about The Division, and no holds barred kind of thing. Now, you take The Division as it is now. You're in a situation that once you hit 30, basically it's a grind. Now, we all know The Division is a grindy game, but now it's even more so a grind, because the Phoenix credits, they've reduced the amount that drop, and they've increased the amount you need, and the same with crafting. I think that it's nearly, I think it's 3 times more mats needed to basically craft an item, or convert one low item into I don't know, but it's basically crazy. On top of which, you've got, like, the 2 patches that have dropped so far, you still have major bugs in the game. Like when you press I, it says you have mods available, which is basically the message you get level 30 to let you know that you have mod space available. On top of that, then there's, crashing constantly. So what annoys me is that, regardless of how they want the game to go, how they want the Dark Zone to be played, they're ignoring these bugs and these problems, and they're basically, not caring about them. In my mind, you want my honest opinion, my final word on this, I think they're trying to get the Call of Duty, Twitch gunner kind of crowd to come over to Division. That's my honest opinion. I mean, why else would you entice people, to do no work, shoot someone in the back and take their gear? Especially now that they're guaranteed to have a high end in their bags. If they kill the boss, they have a high end in the story. 100% drop rate. So to me, they're encouraging people to shoot other people in the back and take their gear. Now, that and the reduced penalty for rogue, I don't know. My honest final word opinion is that they're trying to get the Call of Duty, Battlefield, that kind of Twitch first-person shooter kind of crowd. They're trying to get them into the Division. So yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why they didn't keep it as a tactical shooter. Now they've decided that, as I said, they want to see it. They want the COD crowd. And I really don't know why, because I think the game on its own merit could have stood up to any other game, if they had have balanced the Dark Zone and changed some of the problems that I had and fix the bugs. But it's Ubisoft. They don't have a great name for that kind of stuff anyway, I suppose. But that's been my rant about the Division. My final word is, I don't play the Division anymore. I have 2 friends who still play it, and one of the friends goes on maybe once a day to do, his dailies and some crafting, and that's it. And the other one basically goes on because he's still leveling. So, as I said, I really don't have a clue what's going to happen with it. I hope at some point they change their minds and they realise that people bought the game because they wanted a tactical shooter. They didn't want a Call of Duty clone in third person, which is what it's heading for anyway. So yeah, that's my rant about the Division. Feel free to tell me I'm 100% wrong, call me a wimp, call me names, whatever you like, in the description. In the comment section. But if you are going to do that, give it a like or a dislike. If you agree with what I've said, give it a like. If you disagree with what I've said, give it a dislike. This is Corey from Editutes, and I'll see you next time. Just want to say a quick note. I have some review videos coming up, and also more Let's Play and more no comment videos. Let me know what you think of the no comment videos, where I just play the game. No music, no talking, no editing, just playing the game. So let me know what you think of that. Apologise for not making videos over the last day or 2, since Sunday I believe, because I've been very sick. I've been actually in bed most of the time, very ill, so I'm back up now, and hopefully I'll be able to get some more videos out every day. This is Corey from Editutes, and I'll see you next time.